Let's do it kind of like a...
Got it.
So I thought you'd do like kind of like a military type group, but still funky. Yeah. And I think you would follow it like, like.
All right. We got something going on here.
Can you pull that one out? Some more in the mix.
Let me Google that one.
You'll find that on Google.
Military group is much funkier.
Next up, the marching band.
Alright.
A lot
Yeah,
of
I
things.
had that shit.
A lot of shit going on.
Let's
A lot of shit going on.
let's talk about that. That wraps up hour 1.
Halftime.
Seriously. All right. So first thing that you want to improve on next time is what?
Relax.
Exactly.
Number one thing.
Relax. Got to get into the pocket. We've done this song. I mean,
I know.
tons of times, right?
It's different with the microphone.
Yeah.
It's just different. All right. So fine. Same music,
That's
right?
nice.
Same groove as we've been doing.
Yeah.
Just relax. All right. So how do you think the solo went? Spent a lot of time working on that solo.
It was alright.
Step on.
It was alright.
It was alright. It wasn't great.
Okay.
The volume, I didn't get the volume in the punch, so I should dial it in a little bit.
We know about that. Yeah. So, okay. Well, how could you have directed the band? So hold on. First of all, let me just take a sidebar and say, what Jay's been working on the past couple of months, and what we were continuing to work on, is creating a set of his own music, right? Just writing his own tunes and kind of formulating a way to get basic ideas and flesh them out into songs, and then really how to tell a band what he hears in his head and how to communicate that. Right? So how to get what you hear in your head out musically. So you and I have been jamming on it, but what I want you to think about, while everybody else does know the round, what you want these guys to do different, right? So if you're doing a session, they'll tell you. I mean, these are session musicians here. They're gonna do what you ask,
Yeah.
right? But you got to know what to ask. So what is the number one pet peeve both of you guys have when working with an artist? You get hired to come in and do a project. Either the artist is the producer, or the producer doesn't really know what to do. What's your number one pet peeve, and then Paul, you?
I don't know if it's number one, but the first thing that comes to mind is if the artist or producer themselves doesn't have a clear idea of what they want, and or not able to communicate it.
Okay.
Because then it's like everyone's just kind of missing each other, or sometimes, well, let me qualify it, because sometimes they don't have an idea what they want, and they'll leave it up to your own creativity, and then that can turn out great. Or it can be that they don't know, but they also don't like anything you do. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then if that's the case, then they need to be able to communicate clearly what it is. So, yeah.
Speak in musical terminology.
Yeah, whatever gets the job done. Anything. I mean,
That actually goes what I was gonna say. It's like having the vocabulary.
Yeah.
Lots of times you'll go in and it's almost like your job is interpreting like
Totally.
Right.
non-music artist into technical
right.
based recording knowledge. Just trying to make the world like it's a lot of like knowing the person and kind of getting used to knowing what they know and what they mean by knowing what they know. But it can be very frustrating
If you don't know the person. and
Yeah,
they come in,
exactly.
It's like, yeah, I want this.
Yeah, like some artists I've worked with lots of times, they say do something like this, I'm like, okay, I know what you're talking about. And other times I'll be with a producer or an artist that's very knowledgeable, and they'll say, oh, I want this, oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. But when it's in between, when it's someone you don't know and has an idea but doesn't know how to express it, that's
And it
what's
doesn't
tricky.
mean like.
But you did a great job. You said
I
the
was gonna
military
say,
thing,
yeah.
and you were playing the riff. I was like, well, first thing I forget. There's that Lenny Kravitz song. I can't remember the name of it, but I heard that for some
Fly
reason.
Away.
Yeah, Fly Away.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know if that's quite the vibe you were going for.
That kind of vibe. I mean, that's.
But yeah, but the way you played the riff and the way you
That's
told him
funny,
the
'cause I've
drum
got
part,
that
like
song
I was
here
like,
too.
okay, that's kind of what I think he's thinking about.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was close.
It was. I think because I'm thinking more like anthem-ish, like he does that kind of
Yeah.
like anthem-ish type music.
So yeah. So I think you did a great job. But that's the thing.
Yeah, like coming up and saying like I want a military thing but funky. That's great 'cause that's like very specific, and it's.
Does that mean anything though?
And you
I
would,
don't
and
know.
then honestly, you're just going
You guys are
doo-doo-doo, the
professionals.
way you
Yeah.
the way you go doo 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 on the bass, like you
No.
have the
Yeah.
the thought in your head. And you're
And
like,
to me,
yeah.
that was very specific, and that gave me a definite direction to go in, whether or not it was what you were hearing. I mean,
Yeah.
it gave me something to go off of.
Yeah.
And then secondly, the fact that you gave us a couple bars of what you were going to be playing is
Yeah.
helpful too, because for us never having heard it, just kind of getting the flavor of what it's going to be, and like we can quickly formulate some idea, at least as a starting point. So
Oh, yeah.
I think
It's the
everything
best
was
working
great.
with singers that don't know how to play instruments that try to
Yeah.
tell you to do something
They just can't. Like you have the groove and the idea.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So even basic knowledge, you know, it's just like I know I work with my sister, like she's a writer.